Hey there, Tarot family. I am so grateful that you're here with me today. I'm the Empress of Fortune, and I'm going to try something a little new today. This is my very first collective reading. You know, these readings are timeless, so you could literally be watching this at any time. But as of me filming this right now, it's actually Christmas Day 2023. I just got done with my dinner with my community, and it was wonderful, and I just was inspired to do a collective reading for you guys. I know normally I do pick cards, but I figured why not try something a little different. So if you've never been with me before, I do like to do identifiers. The way that these work is that at least one of the things in these slips that are going to come out could be relevant to you, significant to you somehow. They could have even shown up just in your life in the past couple of weeks, or they could have been like a really important part of your life at some point. So for example, if there's like an actor that comes out or a song that comes out, maybe that actor is your favorite actor, or maybe it's not your favorite actor, but you saw a movie with them in it over the last couple of weeks. The same thing for a song. Maybe that song was like on repeat for you at a certain point in your life, and then it was really just meant a lot to you for some reason. Or you could have heard the song over the last couple of weeks, like while you were in the store or something like that, right? So that's how these identifiers work. If you don't want to watch this part, there is a timestamp down below for you to skip over it, but these just help to confirm that this reading is in fact for you. So yeah, let's see. Spirit, we're doing this mystery reading today. We don't know what the subject is. We don't know anything about it, but who is this reading for? Who needs to see this reading? Who's this reading for, Spirit? Who's this mystery reading for? While I'm doing this, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so we can be more connected. That way my readings will be more specific to you. Also, when you like the reading, it does help the video to spread farther so that anybody who may need to see it can find it. Who else is in this reading, Spirit? Who else is this reading for, Spirit? All right. Finally. All right. We've got Where Are You Going by Dave Matthews Band. That's a song. Driving at Night. So maybe you recently made a night drive. Doesn't, I guess it could maybe need to be somewhere significant, but it doesn't have to be. If I Were You, that's a movie. Cheesy snacks, so you might just love cheesy snacks. You could be eating a cheesy snack right now, something like that. The number 4, that is the month of April. 4 could be your lucky number. You could be seeing 444. April is Aries and Taurus energy. You could also live like on the 4th floor, in the 4th apartment. There could be 4 kids in your family, 4 people in your family. 4th Street or 4th Avenue, whatever. Energy by Drake. Seth Rogen, he's an actor. And a potter, actually. Roller coaster. So maybe you really like roller coasters. Maybe there was like a time in your life when you were riding a lot of roller coasters. You used to go to Six Flags all the time. Or maybe you have plans to go to an amusement park soon. Good by Better Than Ezra. That's a song. I have that song Cowgirl by Nicki Minaj stuck in my head right now, so you might like that song too. Water signs by Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces energy here. That could be your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus sign, or you could have a stellium. Nana by Trey Songz. That's a song. Substack. That is a website where people can subscribe to authors' writings. We Got Love by Tiana Taylor featuring Ms. Lauryn Hill. Portions for Foxes by Rilo Kiley. So I know I said I've never done this mystery reading before. I was trying to decide if I wanted to do these identifiers, and I ultimately decided that I did want to. And I'm not feeling like I shouldn't have, but I am like second guessing myself a little bit. So you might have some second guessing energy while you're just where you are at in your life right now too. But I know ultimately like that I am supposed to be doing this. So I don't know. Foundations by Kate Nash. That's a song. And I'm like over here like worrying that it's like moving too slow or whatever. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe you have that feeling just about life or something. I don't know. Nicki Minaj, Marilyn Monroe. So I did just say that I had Nicki Minaj Cowgirl stuck in my head. And Nicki Minaj came out. She has a song called Marilyn Monroe, but this also could just be Marilyn Monroe or Nicki Minaj like on their own. Showing up in your life or having some sort of significance in your life. Girlfriends, that's a TV show starring Tracy Ellis Ross about friends in LA. Bob Marley. Kimbali, 90 Day Fiancé. When You're Good to Mama by Queen Latifah from Chicago. So Chicago is a Broadway musical that they turned into a movie, and Queen Latifah did that song on there. The Gift album by Beyonce. Pranks, Punked. Air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So for those of you who don't know, Punked is a TV show that Ashton Kutcher used to do where he would prank celebrities. So like you might have seen Punked or heard somebody talk about it. Or maybe you are a person who likes to do pranks, or maybe you're the victim of a prank is something that I just heard. Famous last words. That just came out. Okay. Work from Home by Fifth Harmony. Corny. Maybe somebody called you corny, or maybe you ate something with a lot of corn in it. Set It Off, Queen Latifah. So Queen Latifah energy is like really coming through here. We just got When You're Good to Mama, and then we got Set It Off. Did I say by Queen Latifah? Set It Off is a movie starring Queen Latifah. I don't know why I do that. I say that a lot, actually. Key tattoo. So you could have a key tattoo. You could be thinking about getting one. Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's an actor. You might know him from like Bullet Train. Lobster, he was also the main character in Kick-Ass. We've got Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison. Philadelphia, Philly, Rise Up. So maybe like the Eagles or something. 93 Till Infinity by Souls of Mischief. That's a song. Just wanna get drunk tonight and I'm alright. Girl, that song is stuck in my head so bad. Earrings. So maybe you have a lot of ear piercings, or you just really like earrings. Maybe you bought some new earrings or you're planning on buying some. Maybe somebody gifted you some. Haterade. Maybe somebody said that to you or something like that. It also is like a playoff of Gatorade. Footloose by Kenny Loggins. So that song is also the name of a movie. It's the theme song for the movie Footloose, but also just any like forbidden dancing energy is coming through. I was actually just watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it was literally the episode, like right before I started doing this, was the episode where Aang and the gang are in the Fire Nation, and he like throws the Fire Nation students a secret dance party because they're not really like allowed to dance. So dancing energy is coming through. Honeybee by The Head and the Heart. That's a song. Jamaica. Tea ceremony. So maybe you have like a tea ritual that's also supposed to be like the Chinese tea ceremony, but you might have just like your own tea thing. Hand in My Pocket by Alanis Morissette. That's a song. One hand in my pocket, the other one is throwing a peace sign. And she also says, like, the other one is flicking a cigarette. Okay, De La Soul, that is a hip hop group. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So we've got 3/4 of the zodiac out here right now. That's so funny. That doesn't usually happen. Jessica Alba, Fantastic Four. This also could just be somebody named Jessica or the Fantastic Four in general. Could be significant somehow. Beverly Hills. So that could just be like actual Beverly Hills, but it also could be the song by Weezer. Or it could be Weezer in general, the band. Anne Hathaway coming through. I don't know why her name is in a box. It just is. I don't know. I never figured that out. All Black Everything. So you could be a fan of all black. I myself just went to this wedding where everybody had to dress in all black. It was like part of like the dress code. So that's funny. Mexico City could be significant to you somehow. We've got quarter. So that could be the coin. It also reminds me of the French Quarter of New Orleans. 1212. This also reminds me of like the quarter system. If you're a student, it's on the quarter system, or maybe when you were in school, you were on the quarter system. 1212 could be a date, like December 12th, or it could also be a time. The Joker by Steve Miller Band. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. Speaking of, we have Burn here by Usher. Think that you should let it burn. When you're feeling me, the same in your body, don't want to. Okay, brushing teeth. So maybe you just brushed your teeth, or maybe you could also be suffering from depression and maybe you're having a hard time brushing your teeth. I know that's kind of like one of those things that is hard to do when you're in that kind of state of mind. Lemon Breland from Heart of Dixie. Heart of Dixie is a TV show. Lemon is one of the main characters. That show is so cute. I like it. A Fine Romance by Judith Sills, PhD. That's kind of like a sociology book about dating and courtship. Half and Half. That's a TV show about half sisters who live in the same apartment building in San Francisco. Wake Up in the Sky by Gucci Mane, Bruno Mars, and Kodak Black. We've got Chess. So maybe you're a fan of Chess. Baby Girl Lisa. So we got Baby Girl Lisa and Kimberly, both from 90 Day Fiancé. They both dated the same guy. Lisa was actually married to him. His name is Usman. Kimberly, they, I think, were engaged at one point, but it didn't work out. So, yeah. If you know, you know. 90 Day Fiancé Hive, stand up. We've got here Anniversary by Tony, or Tony. I actually don't know how to say the last one. I guess it's Tony, but maybe not. I think this is the number 9. That could be September, which would be Virgo, Libra energy. That also makes me think of that song 9 by Willow Smith and SZA, I believe. But yeah, 9th Street, 999, 9th Apartment, that kind of thing. 9 people in your family. Cinna from the Hunger Games. He was Katniss's stylist. I guess the Hunger Games maybe just in general. Peanut Butter and Jelly. So maybe that's like your favorite type of sandwich. Maybe you ate one recently or something. Summertime in Paris. Speaking of Willow Smith, that's another Willow Smith song with her brother Jaden. We've got, you also may have spent time in Paris in the summer. Katara from Avatar The Last Airbender. Was I not just talking about Avatar The Last Airbender? I was. I love when that happens. It makes me feel so validated. Company by Drake featuring Travis Scott. Randall Park, he's an actor. You may know him from that TV show Fresh Off the Boat. He played the dad. Flight 99 by Taku, Matt McWaters Masego. So 999 definitely coming through pretty strongly here, but just the number 9 in general. Cheers, Drink to That by Rihanna. Grand Crew, that is a TV show about friends in LA, kind of like Girlfriends, but this Grand Crew, they like spend a lot of time hanging out at a wine bar. Betty Davis, she is a funk icon, married to Miles Davis. She's a musician, accomplished musician in her own right. What About Your Friends by TLC, that's a song. And I do want to say this Betty Davis is Betty, not Bette. Those are two different people. Okay, Ring. So that could be like an actual ring. It could be like a Ring doorbell camera, like The Ring, that movie, the horror movie. I don't know, something like that, I guess. Chateau Marmont, Hollywood. So we're getting Hollywood energy coming through. LA is coming through pretty strongly. Also, there's a song called Chateau by Angus and Julia Stone. That could be relevant to you. Maya Angelou, poet, an actress, an author. Casino by Houndmouth. Dealers in their bootlegs. Okay, we got Ballet Slippers from OPI. That is a nail polish color. It also could literally just be actual ballet slippers. I did say that there was like dancing kind of energy coming through here. Breakfast at Tiffany's. That is a movie, but I also immediately thought, it's also a book, but I also immediately thought about that song by Deep Blue something called Breakfast at Tiffany's. Anthony Kiedis, Remy Wolf. So Anthony Kiedis is the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Remy Wolf is a solo artist, but she has a song called Anthony Kiedis as well. So any of those things could be significant to you. Road trip, energy. And it's funny because when like Chateau Marmont, Hollywood came out and all this like LA energy, I immediately thought about like, oh, LA road trip to Vegas. And then like later on Road Trip comes out. So again, it always just feels good when that kind of happens. Counting Crows, that's a band. They have a lot of popular songs. You might know like Accidentally in Love. Doctor Strange from Marvel. I believe he's played by Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't really know anything about Marvel, but cool. Drew Barrymore, SZA. So something interesting is there are 3 slips in the identifiers where it's a song that's named after a famous person, and we got all 3 of them. So we had Nicki Minaj, Marilyn Monroe, because Nicki has a song called Marilyn Monroe. Then we got Drew Barrymore by SZA, and then we got Anthony Kiedis by Remy Wolf. So that's interesting that all 3 of those came out. Ron and Tammy from Parks and Rec. There are actually 2 Tammys, but if you know, you know. Diamond, so Diamond Ring Engagement could be coming up. We've also just got the Gemstone, and then Diamond from like Love is Blind season 1. Yeah. Just wanna get drunk tonight. Yeah, that's on Cowgirl by Nicki Minaj. It's off of Pink Friday too. It's good. Annoying is also now here. I hate that energy, but it's here. I kind of want to get rid of it, but whatever. Build a Bear. That is a place where people go to make stuffed animals. At the mall. Just wanna get drunk tonight, and I'm alright, I'm Cowgirl. Okay. Yellow Jackets. That's a TV show. That could also be like actual Yellow Jackets, like Wasps. But that's a TV show on Showtime about a soccer team, a girls' soccer team. $20. So maybe you have $20 in your pocket. You might have $20.25 in your pocket. That also makes me think about 2025, the year. I know we're about to enter 2024 right now, but makes me think 2025. The Good Place, that's a TV show starring Kristen Bell, Jamila Jamil, and some other people. American Horror Story, Season 1, Murder House. That's more LA energy, but specifically Season 1. Okay, let's see. Gimme Something Real, Ashford and Simpson. Gimme something real. Nicole Byer, she's an actress and comedian. She actually was in that TV show Grand Crew. The Postal Service, so that could be like actually like USPS, but it is meant to be a band. It is a band that was really popular in like the early, like mid 2000s, I guess. Beauty in the Dark by the Isley Brothers and Most Def. That's a song. All right, guys, we have probably like 5 or 6 more of these, and then we'll get into the reading. Afternoon by Max Biancon. That is a song. He's a musician from New Orleans. Stardust. That's a movie. Michelle Pfeiffer is in that movie, so Michelle Pfeiffer could also be relevant to you somehow. Bali, Indonesia. Okay. And then we have what? Lemongrass. So that could be a flavor, it could be a scent. Lemon energy is kind of coming through because we did have lemon Breland and we also have lemongrass here. So Angela Bassett, speaking of American Horror Story, she has been in many seasons of that show. She was not in season 1, but she's an actress, very famous actress, who is affiliated with American Horror Story. Cold Hearted 2 by Meek Mill. That's a song. Evermore by Taylor Swift featuring Bon Iver. And last but not least, we've got Mugler. All right, y'all, I'm about to go write these down in my tarot journal. Oof, we got a lot of identifiers, but it makes sense because it is a collective reading. So if you feel like getting a pen, a paper, something to write down some notes with, I encourage you to do that at this time. If you are interested in the tarot journal that I created, there is a link in the description box down below. It is perfect for readings like this and even just readings that you do on your own or that you might see elsewhere. But yeah, go ahead and check it out if you feel so called. I'm gonna go write these down in my tarot journal and I'll be right back for our reading. All right, y'all, let's get into this mystery reading. It's just us and the tarot today. No oracle cards, nothing else, just a message from Spirit using the tarot. We're using the Law of Attraction tarot today. This one has really been very active on this channel. It has been wanting to be in so many different videos. I definitely think it's the most used so far. If you guys want like a deck review or anything like that, you know, let me know, because I do have like over 70 different decks, but for some reason this one really just likes coming out. Anyway, I don't know why I needed to say that, but I just did. Anyways, Spirit, what is like the main theme of this reading that we're about to get into? What's the main theme here for this mystery reading, for this collective? Give us some information. What's the main theme here? All right, we've got, this is the King of Pentacles here in reverse. Okay, so this is about money. This is about bad business practices. This could also be about somebody in your life who is very controlling. Could also be about workaholism. And when I say somebody in your life who's very controlling, I mean that they try to control you using money. So this could be a bad boss. This could be just like a bad work-life balance. Something like that. You might have a lot of money knowledge and you might not be using it correctly. There could be some accounting mistakes going on in your life. This is definitely the energy of if you know better, do better. Okay, that's something that I'm hearing as well too. And we also got the King of Cups here in the reverse. So yeah, for some of you guys, this could be a parent, this could be a father, but for others of you, this could just be you yourself. So any of those things that I just said, if they resonate with you, then that means that this reading is definitely for you. I think that some of you guys are sacrificing your freedom and sacrificing your creative freedom, and you also could be spending more money than you need to spend. Okay, you might be living above your means in terms of your lifestyle, and you may be in a situation where the numbers are not making sense. Okay, we have here the Queen of Pentacles. So with that coming out next, you have this energy You see this? You see her? How she's strutting down this hallway. She's got somebody else holding her bags for her. She's got her little teeny tiny dog. Okay? She is bad bitchery. This is some bad bitchery, and that is gender neutral here, okay? This is the energy of how you're living. And honestly, because it's not in the reverse, I kind of feel like it's okay for that. But like I said, the numbers, they're not really making sense, okay? Let's see here. We've got the Knight of Wands, the 10 of Wands, and then the 7 of Wands in reverse. Interesting that they're all Wands. That's interesting. This deck is shuffled very well. This is about impulsive decision making and possibly chasing after the wrong things. This could be about dropping responsibilities. This also could be about moving, making a bad move, thinking about moving. And I'm also seeing here, normally the 7 of Wands in the reverse especially would be like a little bit over aggressive or needing to stand up for yourself, but the pictures on these are very telling and they're very different than any other deck. And the fact that this deck, I guess that's why I mentioned it before, this deck really wanted to be a part of this reading was because the pictures are so different. And you see here that this woman, she's like a craftswoman. She's at a loom weaving a textile. Okay, so she has to have some sort of technical skill in order to be able to do this, technical knowledge in order to be able to do this. And here with this in reverse, this just makes me think of either being overworked and underpaid. Okay, that definitely is coming through very strongly here, especially with these two cards being the theme. But also, yeah, I just get that you're tired. That's what it is. I get that you're tired. And I think that you have this person, this Queen of Pentacles here inside of you. You have this person and this energy inside of you. And I think you know that you embody that. But at the same time, you have this like, either it's very possible that it's a negative work situation or just like I said, living beyond your means. But you're just tired. I get that. You're tired of it. And wanting to drop a lot of responsibilities and just like run away. That is coming through. And I'm not laughing at anybody in particular. I just sometimes the way that things come out just tickles me. So I was just laughing about that. Okay, let's move on. What is the message for this collective, Spirit? We have here the 7 of Swords in reverse. And we've also got the Tower. Okay, so this is big self-sabotage energy. With the 7 of Swords in reverse, it made me think about getting over self-sabotage, and that could be about uncovering the truth. That could be about finding something out or finding a way to be honest with yourself, finding a way to be honest with yourself. And I think doing that is also possibly coming after a major upheaval in your life, a major issue in your life that is something totally out of your control. And when that comes and that happens, it is going to reveal some secrets, okay? These might just be truths for you and yourself, like me, myself, and I, okay? These are not necessarily truths that have to be revealed to other people, but with the moon here, this is about your inner world, your intuition, your deeper knowing, and it's also about secrets, okay? And looking at this card, it's like, you know, we've got this woman down here, but then we also have like her face being reflected up here. And the moon, of course, you know, it waxes and wanes, it goes in and out of different phases. Sometimes it's full, sometimes it is not visible at all, and all the stages in between. And I think that you're going to discover something about yourself during this phase of your life. And there's something that's going to happen to you that is going to completely shake the foundation. And I don't want to say that that is in a bad way. I don't think that when you see the Tower, I know a lot of people see the Tower and they automatically kind of freak out a little bit. I don't think that that is really the case here. I think that this is going to change the way that you see yourself. I think it's going to change the way that you see your life. But it also is like, it's literally out of your control. It's something that you have no control over. You might have a little bit of control over it, but the Tower represents like an act of God, okay? So this is just something that is happening in your life, happening a little bit to you, okay? I'm thinking right now about Moldavite. There's a crystal called Moldavite that was going around on TikTok for a while, a couple years ago, and people would tell their stories about like what happened when they had Moldavite and how it kind of like amplified a lot of the things that were going on in their lives and kind of forced change. So for some of you guys, you might resonate with that energy. But yeah, I definitely get that you're going to, this quote unquote act of God is going to force you onto a new adventure. And it's an adventure that you really have to trust yourself on. You have to trust yourself, and you might have to go it alone for a little while. Okay? And that's not bad. That's not a bad thing necessarily. I do think that if there is fear here, I'll say like it is justified, but I'll also say that you have the comfort that you need in order to make it through. Let me put it that way. All right, we got here the Two of Wands. Yeah, this is going to force you to choose a path. This Tower moment is going to force you to choose a path. And that's not a bad thing, because I kind of feel like I was reading this at first as like your future energy, but Spirit also wants me to read it as your past energy, this Moon card especially as well. You, I think, have been wandering for a little while, and it's not necessarily wandering for a little too long, but whenever this comes about, you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to make a choice, and it's like, two paths diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that made all the difference. That's that poem by Robert Frost. That is coming to mind right now. You're going to have to take the path that is most authentic to you. Because what you're doing right now with the Seven of Wands here in reverse, like I said, it just feels overworked, underpaid, lacking motivation in your life. And we got here this Eight of Wands. There's so much Wands energy here. So Wands is the suit of inspired action. It can also be a suit about spirituality, okay? Eight of Wands can be about news, but the eights are a test. And for you guys, I'm kind of feeling like this is the test of like, it's like interesting thinking about putting the whisk down, So we've got this like batter here that somebody's making. And now I said batter, I'm like, batter up in baseball. But this whisk here, in the reverse, it's like you're putting the whisk down and you're choosing to walk away from this thing. For some of you guys, I'm getting kind of like homemaker energy, choosing to kind of walk away from that life or that lifestyle. But for others of you guys, I'm kind of feeling like this Knight of Wands is very interesting to me. So it appears that this person is at a bar or a restaurant somewhere. They're drinking this drink, and they're also looking into it. They're looking in it and seeing something, and it seems like they're seeing something they don't like. In the upright, it's not like scrutiny as much, but in the reverse, there feels like there's a lot of scrutiny here. They're seeing something that they don't like in that glass. They're seeing something that they don't like in the decision that they're about to make. Okay? And it's like the decision is, do I sip on this or do I put it down? And of course, that's a metaphor, right? The tarot is symbolic. That's a metaphor. So for some of you guys, I think that you're suspicious a little bit of the decision that you either made to put yourself into this position or the decisions that you're about to make. And I also want to say the Wands are the suit of manifesting. Okay? So with so many wands out here, I do have to kind of bring that up. For some of you guys, this could also be a decision. I said earlier to leave like a housewife or homemaker kind of lifestyle. For some of you guys, I'm getting that you might want to actually take that kind of lifestyle. Like this decision not to work is kind of what I'm getting here, especially like I said, being tired, overworked, underpaid. This decision to drop some responsibilities, this decision to move forward and to come clean about something. And with the Seven of Swords here, it's like there's this idea of this light at the end of the tunnel. But with this being in reverse, it kind of is just like, well, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And you know what? I'm thinking right now about like the economy, especially in the United States. There have been a lot of like whisperings about like a recession, whether or not we're going to be in one or whatever, and all these things about inflation and talking about Social Security and whether or not that kind of safety net will actually be there for the people who are on the younger side, who are still paying into it now. Are those benefits actually going to be available to them later, and things like that, right? A lot of people are concerned that they might have to work until they die. You know, a lot of people are very concerned about that. And I'm kind of getting this idea, especially within this collective energy of, you know, feeling like that is not only not acceptable, but there is a hopelessness here, especially with this King of Cups here in reverse. There is a hopelessness here, okay? Because I do think that you are a creative person in some way, in your own way. And you do want things. You know that you live in an abundant world. And with manifestation coming through so hard, I think that you want to believe that you can get to this place. And it's so funny because it's like looking at this card, it's literally like the crown that is on this crest here is like almost like actually on top of her head. It like actually just like looks like she's like, I'm a queen, bitch. And she is the queen. This is the Queen of Pentacles card, but it just is so funny how that crown is like literally almost sitting on top of her head. And you'll notice that like with these other cards, it's not really the same thing. Like this king's crown is, you know, very far away from his head, and so is this one's, right? But with her, it's literally so close, it's like almost on top of her head. And so this is like feeling like you know that this energy exists for you, like you know that this Queen of Pentacles energy exists for you, and being ready to receive all these blessings and live this like luxury and leisurely life that you want and that you desire. But it's hard sometimes, I think, to see a way out of your current situation, or maybe like the idea that your reality doesn't match this energy yet. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to put this upright. For some of you guys, there is, I think, a message about a marriage here. I'm going to hold off on that for a second. This card, this moon card, it's interesting because it's like, I'm kind of getting like Wild West energy here. She's definitely in a forest. It's definitely snowing. I mean, I don't think from, you know, our stereotypes that we think of when we think about the Wild West, I don't think that we imagine snow. But, you know, it snows, I'm sure, in Oregon and like Washington and stuff, right? But maybe even parts of Northern California. But for right now, I don't know why, I'm just getting this idea of this Wild West and wanting to start off on a new frontier, wanting to start off on a new horizon, I think is big energy here. But just kind of feeling like maybe it's too much work to do that. It's too much work to start over somewhere new. And you know what's interesting is I just did a relocation reading, so some of you guys might want to go and watch that. That's another reading here on this channel. But wanting to start off on into a new frontier and questioning your decisions. And some of you guys may even be questioning decisions about like your health, about what you put in your body, about drinking, specifically drinking alcohol, or just even, you know, making healthier choices in general. And with that being said, some of you guys may be wanting to like put down the sweets or do something in terms of your weight, okay? You know, this energy, parts of it are very clear and parts of it are kind of confusing. And the most confusing things, and this makes sense to me at least, is these two cards right here, the Tower card and the Moon card. And now that I'm thinking about it, the Tower card is number 16, the Moon card is number 18. And in the middle of them, between those two, is the Star card, but we don't have the Star card here. And the Star card does represent hope. And I said earlier that there is a feeling of hopelessness here. Okay? When you're forced to choose a path, this is, again, it's going to test you. And I think it's going to test your... It's going to test your strength, but it's also going to test your will, okay? These two hands here with this Two of Swords, you know, to me it's like coming to an accord about something, like coming to an agreement about something. But then in the reverse, that makes me feel like the agreement is not necessarily not honored, but more not beneficial maybe, or maybe it's an agreement that other people have made that you've been left out of. Okay, that's kind of what I'm feeling. And you know what? Now that I'm saying that, I kind of just feel like you feel a little bit like you've been pushed into this life that other people agreed was like the good thing or the thing that everybody's supposed to do. And you're just like, this is not the life I'm supposed to be living. Okay? And you know what is funny is coming through. So if you didn't watch the Identifiers, we did get a song from the musical Chicago, and that song was When You're Good to Mama. But there's a different song that's coming through to me right now from that same soundtrack. What is that song called? Oh, I think it's called Nowadays. The song is called Nowadays, and it goes, you can like the life you're living, you can live the life you like, you can even marry Harry or mess around with Ike. And it's good, isn't it grand, isn't it great, isn't it swell, isn't it fun, isn't it, but nothing stays. I don't remember the rest of it, but I feel like the whole idea about this is that there's actually a lot more options than you think that there are, and you kind of feel like you've been pushed into this certain lifestyle, where you're overworked, you're underpaid, you are you know, not able to handle your own finances correctly, or you might have a workaholic boss who expects a lot of you, or, you know, you might not be able to express yourself fully creatively in the way that you want to, or, you know, really embody that queen-like energy that you want and that you have naturally. And this reading, Spirit just wants to tell you there are other options, but I also feel like Spirit is wanting to tell you that when this test comes with this 8 of Wands here, you know, it might seem like bad news, okay? I want to say that. It might seem like bad news with this 8 of Wands in reverse, but it's not bad news because you never really know if something is actually good or if it's actually bad until you give it time. So you need to give it time, okay? That also, I think, could be a message here with this King of Pentacles in reverse, is like not being willing to see things through, to give things the proper time that they need. The King of Pentacles understands, and the Queen of Pentacles as well, understands that, you know, life happens in seasons. Sometimes things are in season, sometimes they're not in season, right? Like strawberries are not always in season, okay? There's a time and a place for a strawberry to grow. And even if this season is not the season that you think it is, or that you think that it is supposed to be, that doesn't mean that another season is not coming later that is going to be where you get to embody that energy that you so want to so badly, okay? So yeah, for some of you guys, I do see a marriage here, okay? And with that being the case, you might not currently be married. If you are, then okay, cool. If you're not, then this is something that I think is coming in for you, okay? I I think that this marriage can allow you to be the self that you want to be. But I also don't think that you are going to be, you're going to have the companionship that you maybe want or were seeking or whatever from this person, okay? With this in reverse, so the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, they are divine counterparts. That's why I said I see a marriage here. I do think that this is going to allow you to live maybe the lifestyle that you want, but this person is going to be working a lot. They could be greedy, okay? They might not be the best father if they are a man. If they're a woman, they might not be the best mother. They're just not going to be the best parent, possibly. And they might not be very emotionally intelligent or emotional just in general, okay? They might not really know the proper ways to show their emotions. That I don't think is going to resonate for everybody, but definitely the workaholism here and probably not the best parent are coming through here. And if that's the case, I think that with the crossroads being here, you do have to kind of make a choice. For some of you guys, if you're already in this relationship, it might be that you're feeling, again, overworked and like you're not being appreciated, okay? And I did say there might be a decision to kind of like the homemaker thing, you want to kind of leave that behind. And that doesn't mean that you know, get a divorce or anything like that necessarily if you are already married. It just means a change of, it doesn't have to be the way that you're thinking it is. Somebody, like I said, may have forced you into a certain box or certain lifestyle or something like that, and you're like, well, I want it to be different. You can like the life you're living, you can live the life you're like. You can even marry Harry and mess around with Ike. Go listen to that song Nowadays from the Chicago soundtrack. And I'm not here encouraging cheating or anything like that. I'm just saying that song is coming through. Anyway, but I think this is trying to say that there is more to the world than what you've been shown. And something is going to happen that's going to open your eyes. Open your eyes a little bit. Maybe a lot. But if you feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, if you feel like there's no hope in your situation right now, just know that this is a test, okay? So for those of you who are single, I do feel like this person could be coming into your life. And if they come into your life, I do believe that they'll have certain expectations of you. And it's your choice as to whether or not you want to take on those responsibilities, okay? Just know that how something starts is how it ends, okay? Just thought about South Park. Mr. Garrison is always like, okay. And sometimes I feel like Mr. Garrison when I say stuff on this channel. It's so silly. Anyways, and you know what is funny? Actually thinking about Mr. Garrison on South Park, like his character arc is so wild. Like he starts off as an elementary school teacher and then he ends up being like the president of the United States later on. So, you know, things really can change. They really can change in a dramatic and a drastic way, which is really what this Tower card is here to tell you. Okay, I want to get some clarifiers on this Moon card. Spirit, can you clarify this Moon card for us? Okay, we got the Page of Cups here. So with the Page of Cups, that does, the first thing I thought about was children or a child. But it also, with this being in the upright, this could be about an apology. It could be about taking time to develop emotional intelligence, to develop your intuition. Okay, ultimately, what you need to do is you need to take time to develop a creative skill. And that creative skill is going to open doors for you that you really did not maybe even know existed. Maybe you did think that they existed and you just, you know, weren't ready to pursue them or whatever. But this creative skill is going to help you to open those new doors to that place so that you can make the choice that you want to make and not the choice that you feel like you have to make. That is ultimately what this is, because whenever this this foundation shaking, and we did get Foundations by Kate Nash. That song came out in our identifiers, but whenever this foundation shaking event happens to you, you need to be able to make the choice that you want to make. And this is developing your intuition. This is also developing any creative passions that you may have, okay? If there's some sort of like romantic idea of who you always wanted to be, you can be that person. And that is where the idea of that manifestation came through as well. But yeah, don't let a job or another person force you into a position that you don't want to be in, okay? If you have this vision of yourself as a certain person, you always have an opportunity to make a different choice. You know, I'm getting now like drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, don't drink the Kool-Aid. You know, I was talking about this guy over here on this Knight of Wands being able to make a different choice as to whether or not he wanted to drink what was in this glass and being suspicious of it, scrutinizing it. You don't have to drink the Kool-Aid. And if you guys don't know what that means, that is a reference to Jonestown, very famous cult activity where a lot of people, unfortunately, were mass unalived because they were given poison Kool-Aid. And they did make the choice to drink it. So you definitely also need to like look more carefully at the choices that you have in front of you and the lifestyle choices that you have in front of you, especially. And you need to make the choices that align with who you are, who you want to be, and who you feel like you are at your heart and at your core. Okay. For some of you guys, there is another message here that you should be more discerning about your safety, about who you allow in your energy, and, you know, don't take drinks from people that you don't know, and things like that. Okay. If you didn't watch it being made, if it wasn't handed directly to you, don't take it. If you feel like somebody is watching you, you know, be careful. That is coming through as well. And I'm not trying to freak anybody out or anything like that, but you know, that could be watching you through any manner of things. That could be through social media, it could be at your job, it could be in real life, it could be whatever. But I think that as long as you don't take any drinks that are not made directly in front of you and handed directly to you, I think you'll be fine. So that's just a little something from the universe that the universe wants you to know. Yeah. But ultimately, yeah, this is about making the choice that you want for the lifestyle that you want. So going back to like the whole drinking thing, right? I know that there's like a big movement out right now for like mocktails and stuff like that. And people are kind of cutting back on their alcohol intake. And you know what's interesting is that Chicago, that Broadway play / the movie musical came through, and that happened during like the 1920s. That was set during the Flapper era, which was also one of the eras of Prohibition, when alcohol wasn't allowed in the United States. And so some of you guys like may want to make some certain like lifestyle changes, like I said, about what you put into your body, and you need to be more steadfast in the lifestyle choices that you want to make in order to get to where you want to go. Okay, so yeah, develop this creative skill that you have, this romantic and creative notion that you want to do, that you want to be. Go ahead and develop it, because it will help to open new doors for you and give you more options, give you different choices. And you won't be forced into a situation that you don't want to be forced into. Okay? For some of you guys, I did mention the whole thing about the marriage. There could be definitely somebody with a wandering eye. And you know what? I want to just say this, that every relationship is different and every relationship has its own rules. Okay? And I think that kind of goes along with what I was talking about with like, you don't have to be forced into certain things just because of the way that society says them. You know, there's lots of different kinds of ways that people have relationships. They can be polyamorous, they can be non-monogamous, they could be into like the whole like hot wife thing. There's all kinds of stuff that people can be into. So I don't want anybody to ever feel like I'm only reading from like a heteronormative type of relationship style, okay? But I am seeing here that somebody could have a wandering eye that makes them maybe drop some of their responsibilities, okay? And if that's the case, then they just are not doing as good of a job at taking care of the responsibilities that they need to take care of. And they could be feeling a little bit weary, okay? With that being the case, you know what? I'm getting something that Shira7 likes to say, where she says, you know, you can go on strike. Like if you are, you know, supposed to be doing, quote unquote, supposed to be doing certain household duties or whatever, right? And the other person in your household or the other people in your household are not doing their fair share, you are allowed to go on strike and just stop doing stuff, you know? And I'm kind of getting that here with this Eight of Wands. You know, you don't want to let somebody bulldoze over you when they're not taking care of their fair share of the duties and doing the things that they want to do, instead of doing the things that they need to do. Okay, so definitely I'm getting that. You can go on strike. And I think also that that could work with like the work message that we got earlier too, about, you know, wanting the type of, a different type of lifestyle, feeling overworked and underpaid. Going on strike also is coming through for that as well too, because, you know, collective action and also knowing your convictions and staying true to your convictions, that is one of the best ways that change is actually made. And I did also say here that this feels like somebody came to a deal that is not really that beneficial for other people, right? So this could be about strikes, it could be about boycotting, it could be about that kind of stuff, but this is definitely about taking a stand. And for those of you who maybe are in a workplace situation where you feel like you're being taken advantage of, or you feel like, you know, you're not being fairly compensated, developing a creative skill on the side, that really can be helpful for you, like I said, to have a lot more options of things that you want to do, okay? Yeah, that's interesting. Just went from talking about marriage to now talking about workplace labor laws and stuff like that, but this could also be a message about how somebody's maybe housework is not being appreciated, okay? And if that's the case, then you can go on strike too, right? But yeah, I do see, like I said, there could be somebody here with a wandering eye. And that could also be indicative, thinking back to like the whole economy thing and like the workforce. Things are very different now these days than they used to be. When, you know, your parents might take a job and then stay at that same job for like 20 years. Now, a lot of people will take a job and then they'll, you know, switch to a new job like a year or 2 years later, okay? And so that is also kind of like a wandering eye as well. And so with this idea of a wandering eye, I do see there being some revealing of the truth. Revealing of whatever deception or whatever has happened. That truth is going to be revealed. And anything that was a secret, I think, is going to come out. And I don't think it's like I'm not getting earth-shattering secret here. I think it's going to be very surprising. I think it's going to be very surprising, and it is going to cause you or whoever, I guess, to feel a little bit isolated. But you will come up with a creative solution in order to gain your power back. A creative solution in order to, you know, get what you want and what you need out of the situation. So I just thought about like Hit 'em Up Style by Blue Cantrell that came through. And then also in The White Lotus, season 2 of The White Lotus, there is this conversation between, if you guys haven't seen that show, there's like, it follows a few different people at this resort called the White Lotus. In season 2, they're in Italy. And some of the people it follows are these two couples that came on vacation together. And it is noted that the people at this resort are extremely, extremely, extremely wealthy. Like, one of the people that the story follows it's mentioned multiple times that she has $500 million. Okay? So for her to be there and for these other people to be there, you can assume that they are on comparable levels of wealth, right? So something that these two couples talk about is marriage and infidelity. And one of the wives has this kind of philosophy that, like, you know, if her husband cheats on her, she's gonna cheat back. She never says that out loud, but she does say, like, you just do whatever you have to do to make yourself feel better about the situation. So for some of you guys, that might be, you know, taking lots of trips. Some of you guys, that might be hitting them up style, like in that song Blue Cantrell, where it's like, you know, I'm gonna take all his credit cards, I'm gonna run them up, spend as much as I can, and then dump him if I want to dump him. For some people, it might be literally cheating back or whatever, or going on strike and stopping, you know, the intercourse, or stopping the housework, or stopping whatever, blah, blah, blah. But a renegotiation point is going to come up at some point in your life soon. Definitely. That's definitely coming through. Whether this is in your work or in your relationship or in some other space of your life. But a renegotiation is going to come up, and you have to have another option in order to feel like you are not only in a place of your power, but you have to be able to walk away in order to really make your argument stick. And that's why I said you have to come up with some sort of creative outlet that will give you another opportunity or another door to open, okay? But when this negotiation happens, if you don't get what you want, you have to be willing to make a different choice, okay? And you also have to be like, well, what am I going to take and what am I not going to take? You know, so yes, this is very strong energy here. And this is table shaking energy. Things will not be the same after this, okay? Things will not be the same after this. So if we're talking about the workforce, it's like, this is a crucial time. I think that even started like during COVID, when, you know, just everything changed, and the workforce changed in a really big way. And now I think that we're seeing people who are very unhappy with the way that their work lives have played out, and they know that there are different ways to handle things. And so, you know, you have power as a worker, especially if you're being forced to work long hours or whatever, things like that. And I think that you have to know what your options are, know what your choices are, but also figure out, you know, what is it that you're willing to take. And something else now that I'm thinking about is, and I guess this is still true, I don't remember where I first heard this. It was on a tour somewhere. Maybe it was in Salem. I don't remember, Salem, Massachusetts. But it would be like these owners of these companies, you know, they'd pay their workers, and then the workers would go to the bar after work and they would drink all their money away. And I don't know if they knew or didn't know or whatever, but the bar was also owned by the same owner of the company that they worked for. So all of the money that they got into their pocket was actually going right back into their boss's pocket because they were drinking it away. And the boss owned the bar too. And so kind of just thinking about, again, money management, poor money management, possibly, I guess, like living beyond your means or whatever, things like that. But just thinking about the choices that you're making, and do you have an exit strategy? With this idea of, you know, light at the end of the tunnel, feeling hopeless, things like that, you have to develop an exit strategy, or you have to develop some sort of alternative that you can take if you decide that you want to. It doesn't have to be that you're going to take it. You just have to develop it so that it is available to you if you ever wanted to take it, okay? So that you have the power that you need to have in order to be able to come to an actually mutually beneficial arrangement, in order to actually come to a choice that feels authentic to you. For some of you guys, there could be a child or children involved here. And so you also have to think about them when you're making the choice that's best for you too. But just because there's a child involved, that does not mean that you should be doing everything by yourself. You know, There's a reasonable expectation of help and assistance in all relationships, whether those are romantic relationships, friendships, communal relationships, things like that. So, yeah. Yeah, with this Two of Swords here, I'm definitely seeing conflict, conflicting ideologies, conflicting ideas about how to move forward. And I will say that, you know, when you are, let's take the strike example again, right? When you and your boss, for example, can't come to an agreement about something, and then you continue, okay, let's take that back. All right, we're gonna use like a relationship as an example, okay? So let's say that you and your partner have a disagreement about a certain thing. You guys are in conflict about a certain thing. And let's say that it's about, you know, doing the dishes or whatever every night. And you want your partner to take some of this responsibility, and you're like, okay, well, I cooked, so you clean, right? And the partner's like, well, I worked and you stayed at home all day, so you clean and you cook. And they are, you know, refusing to see eye to eye with what you're talking about. And so even though you're like, you know, we're not done with this conversation, we're going to come back to it. This is something that is really important to me. This is something that would be really helpful. You know, I need you to do this so that I can go do blah, 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 other thing that benefits the both of us, right? Like maybe it's like going to give the kids a bath or some other thing, right? And the partner is still refusing. If the dissenting person, the person who said, I need you to do the dishes, then goes and does the dishes themselves, then their statements of why the other person needs to carry the load is not as impactful. Sometimes if you tell somebody that you need help with them, you need their help to do something, and then you continue to do it without their help anyway, they're going to be like, well, you didn't really need my help, or you didn't really need that thing. And the conflict is not going to be resolved. So that's why you have to drop certain responsibilities when it comes to time to negotiate. That's why people go on strike, because they're like, well, I'm not going to keep doing this job if you're not going to, you know, pay me what I need to be paid, or if you're not going to give us, you know, our legal rights that we're supposed to. If you're not going to adhere to the rights that we're supposed to have or whatever, then we're not going to do that work. So I hope that what I just said made sense. I know it's convoluted. It's like if you tell somebody that you need them to do something and they refuse to do it, and then you continue to do it while arguing with them about why they need to do it, they're never going to take you seriously, because they're going to figure out that they can get you to keep doing it without making any changes. So you have to stop doing it. You have to just leave the dishes in the sink. And I know that that can be hard, you know, especially if you know, like things a certain way or whatever. But the other person or the other party needs to see that there is a genuine need for them to change their behavior in order for their behavior to actually start to change. So if you want something from this other person or this other party, you need to make it very obvious as to why that should no longer be on your plate anymore. And you can use that time that you get from not doing those things to develop a creative skill, okay? All right, y'all, that is the end of this mystery reading. I hope that this brought you some clarity, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.